Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel. Welcome if you have gotten lost and have found me. Welcome. I hope you find enough value here, enough difference in my approach and my delivery to warrant hitting this subscribe button. If you are a returning subscriber, a regular viewer, welcome back. And I don't know, this is maybe my attempt to be more organized than I am, but on my channel, I have, it seems to me, anytime I think I do something that's more than one video in theme, I create a playlist. So as I was about to start this video, I was thinking, okay, now, so what is this? Is this a craft with me? Is this a use it, don't store it? Is this organization? Like, I don't know. Is it Christmas? So I guess the best way to be sure that you don't miss anything is to hit the notification bell. And I truly didn't intend to turn that into a sales pitch. Okay, I do want to start with a few announcements so that I don't forget to say things. I am still welcoming suggestions for naming my moose. I've decided that he's my channel mascot. He is over 2 pounds in weight, so he makes a thunk when he takes a step. There have been some very clever ones, and because of that, I think the best bet, when I think, the ideas have perhaps dried up, is to do a poll on the community tab on my channel. Now, I've never done that before, so of course it'll be an adventure. So there's that. I also wanted to say that if you haven't watched my video and the correlating videos on other channels with using the hashtag Happy Mail Movement, and it was a brainchild of Kim Newberg, I really hope you do, because it's only begun and already it seems like fun. I've had people, I did my intro video last week, and I've had people say, yeah, that they're in and they're sending me stuff. So that's great, which of course means that I'll be reciprocating and sending something back. I've decided that I'm doing this open to Canadian and US addresses only. Excuse me. So I really hope that, you consider doing it. And I realize that this is only getting to be a busier time of year. There is no deadline or no, start and finish date, so to speak. So if you're so inclined, please do it. Okay, what else? I have also finally, since coming back from our trip, listed a few items, well, 3 journals, in the Traveling Crafters Makers Market website. So again, I've spoken about that in the past, as have many other channels. It is the brainchild of Angela, the traveling crafter, and it is a community place with support and encouragement for people to, well, for sellers, certainly that is the backroom part of it, for sellers to be able to list their goods for sale, and that's a wide range of products, from finished products to supplies and books and so on. Oh, I should say, I think I deserve a medal, by the way, for remembering to turn on my lights before the video instead of partway through. I'm just going to pop a piece of gum to hopefully settle this tickle down. I just want to point this gum out. I found this at, no, it was a Dollarama or Dollar Tree. I was trying, this was during one of Angela's live sales. And of course, you know, there's a chat going on through the whole thing. And I was, oh, I know, the question was, what do you see at the dollar store that reminds you of your youth or whatever? And I couldn't think of the word thrills, but I thought it was hot pink instead of purple. So my intel was really good, you can tell. But anyway, I said in the chat, and of course, you know, there's that delay. So by the time, you know, anyway, you know what chats are like. I says, and it tastes like soap. I didn't realize that that was part of their branding. It still tastes like soap. So they're chiclet shaped things. They're purple. The flavor is soap-like. And maybe that's for those of us. No, I never had my mouth washed out with soap when I was a kid. The flavor does not last long at all. But anyway, let's see if that helps my tickle. But I was talking about the Maker's Market. So that is a place for people to buy and sell. And I finally did some listings. And just one last thing, and I'll finally get going on why we're here. If you are a cat lover, and full disclosure, I am not. I prefer my cats in books and in pictures. I have a listing that is going to be coming up, you know, maybe even before you see this video, that is going to make cat lovers everywhere just purr with contentment. Anyway, enough said. You'll have to check it out. Okay, moose, great. Oh, and finally, I announced that my tagline is going to be "A creative mess is better than tidy idleness," and then I forget to say it. So let me get that out there right off the bat. So I think what I intend to call this video is Collage Your Way to a Clean Desk. Since getting back from our little junket to visit my son and his family in the States, I've been working on these Christmas journals, trying to get things done and listed and photographed and all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And the desk is chaotic. And I had all these little itty bitty things, these little pieces of unrelated stuff. Gotta save your old tape. So I thought, let me make a master board. Now, typically, and I've shown you this in the past, I have a larger, say a 9 by 12 book or so in size that I do collage or master boards in and leave them in there until it's time to cut them up. Could I find the book? No, I can't. No, I couldn't. So then I thought, well, why don't I use some of that Christmas paper that I bought? So this is, it is not very opaque. Anyway, it's just sort of typewriter weight paper. But that's fine, because I thought that this would be fine for writing on. It's almost lined in a sense. And frankly, I am not worried about that, because anyone who knows, uses, buys these kinds of things knows that we are repurposing stuff. So just for people who are maybe a bit uncertain about collages and masterboards, let me just say that most of the time I spend a great deal of time tearing things so that I have a ragged edge as opposed to a straight line. And I thought, well, see, this also fits under the Save Time in the Craft Room series that I've started and you people seem to appreciate. Anyway, I thought, why don't I try just using things as I find them? So I couldn't tear this even if I wanted to, but I can use it as a straight line. Chances are when I cut this up, it's going to be random. Plus, there are also opportunities if I don't like some very hard edges, like here we have an intersection of, 3 or 4 or more straight angular edges. I can certainly put something there. Today I went to a Christmas market, and this was a flyer that we'd all gotten in our mailboxes. Look how neatly that decorates this, but also covers that corner, that corner, that corner, that corner. So there are ways around it. I also ripped a border off some napkins. You know how I love using napkins. So this is another thing that with its jaggedy, now of course I'd have to do it on this side too, with its jaggedy edge will basically disappear as it's glued down, and will also serve to soften edges. So that's sort of what I'm thinking. Now, of course, I had enough itty-bitty pieces in a variety of colors that I have enough to do two, and I have a second one started. Now, if you've been watching videos lately, you will probably recognize some of the papers. I had all of these. These are the answer pages from that sort of what I call a Where's Waldo book. Oh, geez, I just dumped a bunch of stuff in my little garbage basket here. That wasn't very clever. So if I had a finite amount of something, like if I had a nickel for every time I've moved, I think I had two pieces like this. I loved it, but didn't have a place to put it, so I just kept moving it around. Today I thought, no, rip the damn thing in half. I had another one, rip it in half, two on this board, two on the other one, and I never have to touch it again. So it's the use it, don't store it. It's the save time in the craft room. And we're saving time by not tearing every single thing. So I'm just going to continue doing this for a bit. I see that didn't adhere very well. I'm also going to finally pop this piece of gum in my mouth. So forgive me for a second. Had to start a new glue stick. Anyway, I hope that you are well. It is, you know, sort of end of November as I'm doing this. And like I said, I went to that craft market today, and I have a question. If you are a crafter making things for sale as opposed to just, you know, mental health and well-being, I'd be interested to hear in the comments if you take part in craft markets. What the heck is going on here? If you take part in craft markets, have you done it once and quit because you thought it was more trouble than it was worth? Or do you do that routinely? You know, like Christmas, Mother's Day, you know, whatever. And what has your experience been like? Because frankly, I went today, to be perfectly blunt, to gather some intel. I was trying to figure out if that would be a good use of my time. Now again, small town and surrounded by small towns. There's another one I want to go to in a week or so. And, oops. So, I don't know. Small town markets tend to have a smaller audience. Fewer vendors. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? I mean, obviously there's the, oh, I found a few more of these little guys when I actually dug a little deeper on my desk, so I want to glue those down too for sure and be done with them. Okay, the small towns or say rural Alberta, you have to drive. So that's not necessarily a good thing if you're a potential customer or a vendor for that matter, because you might have to, you know, make 2 trips or whatever, depending on what the rules about setup are. Free parking. That's a plus. Well, today Santa came too. So if you have kids, maybe you're taking your kids to see Santa. Horse-drawn wagon rides. That could be a thrill if you happen to like, you know, Clydesdales and that nostalgic kind of thing. Big city. I don't like that angle. Big city means you probably have to pay for parking. There might even be an admission to attend to the thing, which could be a deterrent to customers. Bigger market means maybe greater appeal to the customer, but it also means more competition. Like, for instance, today, the busiest booths, well, mind you, I wasn't there when the doors, you know, were flung open. But anybody that I talked to, and it was like, it was a nice opportunity to talk to people I haven't seen in a long time. But it also, most of the people that I saw and talked to that had packages, and again, you know, I've been in business. I know what to look for. You can't deposit compliments in the bank, in your bank account. You need people to actually open their wallets. So anyway, most of the sales that I witnessed or heard about were of the baked goods variety. And in fact, the only thing that I bought was a traditional Ukrainian thing. I've never made it myself, I've only tasted it once before in my whole life, and that is called honey cake. Now I have to say, I paid $10 for something that is perhaps, I don't think it was even 6 inches square. And of course, I just dig into it when I got home. It wasn't as good as the first time I had it. So, like, what's up with that? Anyway, most people seem to gravitate to the baking. We also know that in many parts of the country, the world, people are suffering with high interest rates, increased cost of living, and of course, some people have more capacity to get through that than others do. So nobody there was selling things that you need to live on, or live essentials of life. You know, food, clothing. Well, I guess there was some clothing, but clothing we know becomes optional. Someday we should talk about the, what the heck was the guy's name? Can't think of it off the top of my head. Anyway, this guy, maybe Maslow, Abraham Maslow, years ago developed what he called the hierarchy of needs. So you won't think about becoming an actualized person, living to your fullest potential, you know, the ultimate you, if in fact you're hungry, if you feel unsafe. So if you were in a country that was experiencing war, for instance, pretty hard to worry about other things. Maybe I should put this glittery stuff on there. If you don't know if your house is going to be bombed. So if people aren't able to look after their basic needs, are they going to buy tchotchke extras at a market? Probably not. They wouldn't be there. They may be there at the arena later for the free cocoa and whatever, and the free skating, but they probably won't be there to buy anything. So, these are so itty bitty. I need something bigger. I also have these out of a coloring book, but that's more like a finishing piece than let me use this. And I do have bigger pieces, obviously. Although these are big enough for like mini signature pages or something, so don't really want to use those if I don't have to at this moment. But I do have some of these smaller strips that I should be getting rid of. Anyway, this I'm clearly off on a tangent here. But these are the kind of things, because like this isn't my first rodeo and I wasn't born yesterday. This is something that I think as crafters we need to think about. Like, I was basically there picking the brains of people who I didn't know, or, well, yeah, people I didn't know. I'd say things like, is this the first time you're here? And they'd say yes or no. And they would also say, and I say, so is it worth your while? And, you know, the implied answer is, well, I wouldn't be here if it didn't. Everyone is philosophical enough to say that it was, you know, that every year is different. And again, not my first rodeo. I used to take part in trade shows and art shows and things like that. And sometimes, frankly, it's a wee bit scary when you stop and do the math and you think to yourself, okay, you worked like a dog preparing for it. You paid a registration fee, and that could be, you know, and it could be a one-day thing, several hours long. It could be a weekend. It could be, well, I guess it's one or the other, a weekend or a day thing. It may be some distance from home, so obviously you've got transportation costs getting there, whether it's, you know, filling your tank or, you know, wear and tear on your vehicle, those kinds of things. Unless you pack a bag lunch, you're going to be, you know, buying a coffee, buying yourself a lunch, or maybe more than one meal. You're probably, if I know anything about myself and perhaps you, you're also, in the quiet times, going to troll through the sale and probably buy some stuff, which is obviously great if you need it. But it's also one of those things, you didn't come there to shop, you came to sell. So are you spending more than you're taking in? So I don't want this to come across as cutthroat or, you know, cold-blooded. I think it's pragmatic, and I think it's businesslike to look at these things from all perspectives. And to, you know, figure out your own, to do the math. I've been to sales where in the past I haven't sold as much as I hoped to. And one of the favorite things we tell ourselves, it was good exposure. And that's probably, no doubt it's true. It was good exposure. But again, if you're doing this to make some money, to recoup your costs, you can't eat exposure. You can't take it to the bank. So, again, I said to this one lady, and she had nice stuff, but I'm also at that point in my life where I should be thinking of, I have a bald spot there. Although a focal point would work too. And typically, if this was a finished piece of art, I would say, hold it off in the distance, squint at it to see where your eye may be getting stuck, and, remedy the problem. Because it's a masterboard, that is not going to be such a crucial step. Let's put some of this stuff down, the napkin. So yes, did I admire her cork wallets? Sure I did. They were nice. Did I need one? No, I didn't. Did I buy one? No, I didn't. Did I like her fabric wallets, like with a, what is that stuff called? Like the, sort of the framework, the metal thing at the top and the little latch. I don't know if that's like the frame, or there must be a real word for that, but I don't know it. Anyway, so those are $35 each. Well, the one that I opened had a $40 tag, or price tag in it. I said, that says 40. Your sign says 35. She said, oh yeah, they're all 35. I gotta get rid of them. And because she was nice, again, I didn't know this woman from Eve, so, I will try putting the glue on here and hope it doesn't tear. Anyway, I said, yeah, by the time a person, she says, I've got to get rid of them. And I says, well, yes, recoup the cost of your supplies. And then find out that you, you worked for minimum wage. She says, maybe more like 10 cents an hour. So again, each of us make our own decisions, and we do what we do based on those things. I was talking to someone I hadn't seen in a long time, and because I'm no longer doing that Ukrainian festival, that coordination, which was, a very labor-intensive, passion project, labor of love kind of thing, that basically I worked year-round to produce, to make this 2-day festival happen. Anyway, don't do that anymore. After 10 years, I said, no, it's time for something else. So I'm basically saying this to the woman, and she had participated in the festival in the past. I said, so, we were talking about working from home, because she has the opportunity to do that through her job. And I say to her, but I says, maybe the reason I'm talking your ear off is because I never get to see anybody or any real live human beings. And that is partly true. But I've told you before, I'm an introvert. So that, in fact, is a good thing for me. I love people in small doses and where they're not sort of sucking the lifeblood out of me. You see how these things are sort of unifying it a bit? Because I find that I'm putting them over not only those bald spots, but the maybe areas where need a little change in direction or whatever. Anyway, so, and the reason I'm saying this part is because maybe some of us go to these markets because it's a way to interact eyeball to eyeball, heart to heart with people that we hope will be our customers, but just people in general, you know, fellow humanity kind of thing. I think I'm going to put this last one here and call it a day on this one. Again, knowing full well that I can embellish it more if I need to. So, okay, so some of us might do the whole craft scene for the camaraderie, the getting away from home, the interaction, the feedback. You know, like a person can spend a lot of time and money creating something only to find out that, no, the market isn't that thrilled about it. So that's a good thing to know sooner rather than later. That will be my last piece. This seems kind of, well, no, let me walk my talk here and just stop. I will trim this edge. I don't know how long this video is going. It seems like I've been on a soapbox here. But I think, like, if I was sitting across from you having a coffee, these are the kinds of questions that I would be asking, because I truly want to know the answers. Over the course of my life, I've been told, man, you ask good questions. And I think, well, thank you very much. That is one of the best ways to learn, to be honest. So if we were sitting across from each other in person, this is what I would be asking. So I hope that if you have something to say or have a point to make or additional questions you want to ask, that you do so in the comments, because the chances of you and I meeting eyeball to eyeball are pretty darn slim. I'm just going to move my little transparent thingamajig here away, and maybe, just for the heck of it, because I mean, you probably don't need to see glue this stuff down. I think you've seen me do masterboards before. Look how thick this paper is. Now, I said I found a few more of these, so my next step would be to glue those two guys down. I told you I made one into two, and I also have these bits of doily here, so I intend to use some of those there. This is a piece of something blue. There's some blue on there. Not so sure about this. I could also use this here and kind of see where it takes me. So that's what I'll do. So let's imagine, you have good imagination, imagine me doing that. And let's instead maybe cut this one up just for the heck of it and see what we end up with. Anyway, I was talking about why people might do this. I think until a person sort of tests the market, we often don't know, well, as I said before, we don't know if the market wants what we're making. We don't know what the market is willing to pay. And of course, you can sit at a sale all weekend long, drive back and forth from home if you don't live there, and still not know the answers to these questions. Because I think we tend to try to explain things away and rationalize. And I've crowned myself the queen of rationalization. So if sales are not so great, we could say, people really are struggling. Cost of living is high, food bank usage has exploded, people don't have the disposable income. And that, no doubt, is true. Okay, I'm not one of those people that has standard sizes for anything. Surprise! So I'm just going to randomly do whatever I want. I probably will try to keep this poinsettia intact on the back here because, oh, I still have a corner lifting. People might if sales are poor, people might also say, well, people aren't in the mood yet because there's not a speck of snow on the ground. People might say, well, you can get something that looks similar. See, all I'm doing with this quilter square is lining up the edge of this paper, assuming that it's straight. Let's pretend that's a tall, skinny tag. Now that may be a bit too tall, but we'll see. If sales were awesome today, or the sale weekend, then we could think, oh, people are, they really do want oh, look what I just did. Crap. Oh my goodness, forgive me. What I wanted to do was to see why I've got this little bulge here. Now I might have to do a patch there. Oh, we won't flip them over till the end. We might say to ourselves, oh, it is that trend. Okay, this is 8.5 wide, so let's maybe do 4 1/4. People are feeling like they want, like I heard something on TV the other day that people are planning to spend a lot less this Christmas season. I think mainly because people are struggling, and I think even sometimes if people can afford it, it almost seems like, are you so out of touch that you don't realize that maybe you shouldn't be spending as much just because you can doesn't mean you should, kind of thing. Okay, this would be 3 inches. Again, these measurements are totally off the wall. So I don't know what I'm getting here. This is, what is this? So that is 7 3/4 by 4 1/4. That could almost be a good belly band size. So let's just cut this baby more or less in half. And then we'll have a look-see. Didn't go all the way through. Probably time to break off a new section of blade. Okay, let's see what we have here. Another reason that people might go to markets to sell, geez, that didn't hold worth a darn, is because they have been buying, and just feel that you know, like as this woman with the purses and that said, because she also had a whole bunch of knitted stuff. Did I put glue on that piece at all, or was it just gravity holding it there? You know, if a person has done all the work, then you feel like, well, geez, even if I'm taking a loss on it, I got to get it out of here. You know, that kind of thinking. Okay. So these two could be belly bands. And considering I use such an oddball mix of papers, there is some kind of cohesion going on there. Something like this is 4 1/4 by 3 1/2, so that could be a journaling card or, you know, a corner tuck or something. Some of these thicker papers sure didn't stick down well. Mind you, I would also typically put a master board under a weight, just to make sure that it sort of grabs. And who knows what this is? 3 1/4 by what? 8 1/2. Oh, I said that could be an oversized journaling card just because. Let me do this. Just because sometimes a person has a deeper pocket and a taller journal and you need something kind of like so. Oh, those kids. Anyway, the point of today's video is that when you're drowning in this stuff, perhaps the best thing you can do, the biggest favor you can do yourself, is to do some master boards, which in turn into something useful that, you know, maybe need another step or two. Like maybe these guys will be sewn around. Get a little more decorating done to them. I cannot believe how many. This glue is typically very reliable. The Yoo-hoo. Anyway, that, my lovelies, is it for today. So remember, a creative mess is better than tidy idleness. And you can collage and masterboard your way to a clean desk. I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.